verses 1 to 7. In those days, a decree went from Emperor Augustus that all of the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David, called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and the family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver the child, and she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in the manger, because there was no place for them at the inn. So please rise as you're able and join us in singing number 237, The First Noel.
Industry that we know as Christmas. In seminary, they teach us that this type of text exists to explain the relationship between Jesus and the prophecies that came before his birth, talking about a Messiah who would come to save the Jewish people. Jesus' personal story didn't match exactly all the prophecies, so this text is here to link him back to the house and the lineage of David, as well as to the city of Bethlehem. As Unitarian Universalists, we like this sort of rational explanation. We like this decoding, this historical narrative. It makes us feel knowledgeable, like we have a sense of control. There's no superstition, no magic, no mystery, no surprises. But as we discussed a couple of weeks ago, that's not really the point. That's not why we come to church on Christmas Eve, and it's not why we tell these stories. The story is about the incarnation of God, the incarnation of love, the incarnation of joy and hope that comes in a newborn baby. The baby is the embodiment on this earth of these blessings. It is redemption in human flesh. In our Unitarian Universalist child dedication services, we say that every child born is one more redeemer. Every human being on this earth has the opportunity to live into their fullest and most realized beautiful self in harmony with the whole, a living, breathing, loving hope for the world. But let's be real. Very few of us actually do that. And this child, the story told of this child that was born, was not just any one of us, not just any child. This child was the poor baby born to an unwed teenage mother. This child was born to a mother whose betrothed had in mind to leave her because she was pregnant before they got married. His mother was also a Jew living in occupied Palestine, which at that time was controlled by the world-ruling, brutally powerful Roman Empire. This child was born to a small but vibrant minority culture with a long history of poetry, art, and religious practice despite nearly constant oppression. This child was born into a people who were yearning to be free, yearning to live lives of meaning and presence and faithfulness without the constant threat of violence and death. But even among his people, even among his fellow Jews, this child was born into poverty and into disgrace. The child was born the lowliest of the low, born in a stable among the animals. And yet the story of this child has been told for almost 2,000 years. It's a story about how hope can come from the least expected of places. It's a story about kindness triumphing over cruelty, of our best selves being enough to make extraordinary and unpredictable, even miraculous change. It's a story about love being stronger than fear, stronger than violence, stronger than raw power. It's a story of a people rising up again and again despite torture, death. It's a story of love being incarnate in the small body of a poor minority child, and then living on through all the people who chose to carry that story of hope and love and justice on after the man that he became was killed. It's a story of hope being born in an oppressed people who refused to let the man's vision of justice die with him. It's a story of power rising up from the powerless. A story of hope beyond despair, of love beyond fear, and of justice beyond injustice. It's a story of miraculous courage. It's a story for today. So every week, and this time twice this week because we have a midweek service. We have an opportunity to express our love for this church and our joy for being here as a community in a form of an offering. By sharing our resources, tangible expressions of our energy in the world, we're saying that we care about this place. The offering will now be received. Will the usher please come forward?